Thank you for buying this 15121 server cabinet from Fixture Displays. These are all the components. Two side frames, top that has a vent, bottom, power strip, levelers, wheels, fans, shelves, back panel, back door, and side panels, front door, and long braces and short braces along with the metal plates. And then we have the hardware kit. In this video, we're going to show you step-by-step instructions how to put this unit together. These removable panels have a indentation, and it's your choice which way they face. For consistency, we recommend that face out. And those are the panels that you can remove to access additional wiring in and out. We're going to use these shallower screws or flatter screws to fasten. There are 3 panels, 4 of those actually in the middle. Now we're going to set up the 2 frames. It's very important that you see there's on the outside has 1 slot that must face outside. True for both frames. That is the little latch that holds on to the lock cam or tongue portion. If you have that hole face inward, you are not going to be able to fasten the door. So make sure you take your time, and I'm going to try to point it out as we go. We're going to line this up and insert this into the base like that, and then there are 2 screw holes we're going to fasten with this socket type and then this nut. We're going to go through these holes and use a nut to fasten, and there's a Allen wrench provided as well. So make sure you fasten that nice and tight. Two on each position, total 8 screws on each side. If you have any questions, feel free to email us cs@fixturedisplays.com. There's another panel, and once you have decided which to close up, which to open, you can choose to close that. And certainly if you want to save that until wiring is done properly, you should keep that open. In a very similar fashion, we're going to close the cap or the top of the cabinet. At this time, you almost have the main structure ready. It's time to think about your doors and your side panels. You'll see that 2 holes that we're seeing on the top. That's for the side panel to click, and there's a lock mechanical that should go in there. Now we're going to use this type of hex screw to fasten. Again, these are different from the base. These are not as heavy duty as the base, but is adequate fasteners. And once you have finished your wiring from the top, you can choose to close that or keep it open, your choice. Now we're going to fasten the fans to the top panel through these 4 screw holes. And we're going to use these self-tapping screws, 4 of those, to fasten the fan. And make sure we plug in the wiring for the fan to work properly. And this is the female connection. We're going to insert the wire into it. At this time, we're ready to fasten the cross members. And this is the position. And we're going to use this type of Phillips screw, and that has a pointy end. So we have 4 of those, 2 on each side. Now we're going to fasten the long beams. The long beam has an L bend, and that should face inward. And remember, observe those screw holes, 2 square, 1 hole, 1 round, total 3 holes spacing, and that's where you should start fastening the upright. We're going to use this type of screw, Phillips, 2 screws, 1 on each side. And then there are 2 on the left-hand side, 2 on the right-hand side. Certainly we're laying them that flat right now, would be 2 lower and 2 upper. Now we're going to work on the bottom. There are 4 casters we're going to fasten. Again, we're going to use the Phillips screws. If you have a power drill, this is a good time to use that to save some time. Once we have the casters in, we're going to fasten the levelers. The levelers are weight bearing in conditions where they are steady. Once you have rolled them to a desired place, you can activate the fastener and let the cabinet sit on the fasteners. Certainly, once you have occasion you need to move that around, you would reduce the height of the levelers and use the wheels to push it around. I'm going to use this type of hardware to fasten the shelves to the uprights. And there are runway holes pretty long, therefore you can determine where to fasten and make that easy to work with. I'm going to use this type of Phillips screw again, and a nut on the other side. Now we have 4 shelves installed. Certainly you can contact us to purchase more or use less if you only have a few equipment. We're going to install the power strip now. That should also use the Phillips screws and nuts. At this time, we're getting ready to work on the doors. These are the door hinges. They're small end and big end. We want to make sure the small end goes into the corner hole. And likewise, we do the same on the other side. As you can see, the power strip we chose to install in the back, and then this is the back door. That is a solid metal door. Then we're going to hook it up to the bottom hinge and then retract the spring-loaded hinge right here and then release into the upper hole. Now we're going to install the cam lock. There's really only one way this go in, and then we're going to fasten that big nut. Then we're going to work on the tongue, use that Phillips head screw. Then we're going to turn and lock. So we're almost done. We're going to work on the front door that has a piece of glass. and drop that onto the lower hinge and work on the spring-loaded hinge and then engage. The lock on the front door is quite different, but is fairly straightforward. We're going to remove this metal bracket from the lock. There are 2 screws fastening that, and then fit the handle lock through the opening and then fasten the bracket back to it to hold the lock in place. Now this handle is in place. We're going to finish the cam lock. Use this big washer, another round washer, screw, and then the tongue piece. The tongue should face outward. May take a couple tries, make sure the orientation is proper. And this is how you handle this handle. And of course there's a lock and key as well. Lastly, you're going to fasten the set panel. There are 2 pins in the bottom. We're going to insert and then retract the handle portion. Remember the door frame, the side frames, and these are the where this latch goes into. Dimensions of this cabinet: left to right is 23.6, front to back 23.6, height 39.4 inches. This unit weighs about 120 pounds. And the shelf is 18.5 inches by 14.8 inches. The height, of course, is adjustable. If you have any questions, email us cs@fixturedisplays.com. Remember, like us, subscribe, and leave a good seller feedback along with a product review. Also recommend item 15594, that is floor unit. Thank you.